good morning and welcome.
Ooh.
Yeah, rough.
Bad.
Yeah, Patriot Radio News Hour.
Good morning and welcome to Patriot News Hour. Joe can't talk.
We had a big weekend.
Yes.
My boys won their football game. I know this is very important to everybody. We won. I say we because, that's how you do it, right? You claim.
Right. Yes.
So my son's football team, both of them were on the team, are going to play in the championship game, which is this year is actually going to be at U of A.
Oh, nice.
Because the Cardinals are playing at home, and Sun Devil Stadium is closed for renovation.
Oh.
So we're going to play down in Tucson.
Oh.
So they beat the number one seed Friday, 37-34.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's terrific.
very exciting.
Very
Exciting.
Very
And I will say this, a shout out to Cienega, the team that we beat. They were fantastic. Very well coached, very well played game on both sides, and as you can tell today, still suffering from the screaming, the yelling, and the cheering.
Yeah, it's like every 10 minutes he goes.
I go gargle, and I'm trying. I'm trying.
Yeah.
It is Thanksgiving week,
which I can't believe.
I know, it's so fast.
Yesterday, John and I went to get the turkey.
Okay, so you
he
were on the mission.
He does not shop with me because he stops and speaks to everyone in every aisle. But we got the turkey. We got a 9-pound turkey because we're only having 9 people, but one only eats grass. My stepson.
Right, you have one that,
He's a vegan, and,
So
I think that's plenty, plus a ham.
Plus a ham, yeah. You
Right.
got to have some ham to go with
Ham
the
and
turkey.
green bean casserole, and then my 2 stepsons, who don't live with us, they're going to be here, and the number 1 stepson, Tyler, says I'm bringing a friend girl.
So he's bringing a plus one.
Plus one. And then they inform me they'd like to bake pies. I'm like, in my house?
Are they bakers?
I'm not a baker. So they were asking me, like, would you have a rolling pin? I'm like, I don't know. Well, yeah.
I'm going to go with if they're listening, Wendy doesn't have anything.
No, I do. It's actually from their late mom. There's
okay,
a drawer, a baking drawer that I don't.
That you don't even go
into.
into.
Go into it. No. So I said, look, I don't care. I'll sit on the couch. You can bake pies all you want as long as you clean up my kitchen and don't come in on Thursday.
Right, don't come Thursday.
Don't come into the kitchen.
I'm busy.
Thursday.
I'm busy on
John
Thursday.
does the turkey.
Gotcha.
He's the turkey boy.
So listen, I am going to, in every year since I invented this, I'm claiming that I invented. It is the greatest thing ever. Chris, if you're not hosting the dinner,
right.
Okay, you're going to, whether it's a relative, a neighbor, whatever it may be, right? You're going to somebody else's house. Inevitably, it always happens. It's time to go, and you're given your allotment of leftovers.
Are you going to Eric's?
Yes.
Oh, you'll have leftovers.
Yeah, but you always get your allotment.
Right.
Which most of the time, maybe you get some ham, green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Cranberry. I mean, you don't get any of you don't get
the good stuff.
The good stuff, the
right.
turkey,
right.
the mashed potato. You don't get that.
Right.
So I don't know if it was 2 or 3 years ago. It came to me, almost like a vision quest. A backup turkey.
A backup turkey.
So
you are making a turkey and taking it to.
No. You do not take. What
you're
you
do?
It. Yes, you buy a turkey.
Right.
Okay. And then, you do the thing. You put it in the garage, in the sink in the garage, let it defrost, do all that stuff. And before you leave to go to the Thanksgiving dinner,
right,
you put your turkey in
the oven.
In the oven. And it does 2 things. Number 1, you've got to be home at a certain time.
Right.
Because
otherwise you'll burn the
turkey.
turkey.
Or the turkey's going to burn down the house.
Do you leave your house with the oven going?
It's a turkey. What's going to happen?
God, I would never do that.
Okay, see.
Anyway, I would, yeah.
So, if you know what? We have insurance. If it burnt down, probably do me a huge favor.
Right.
But nonetheless, you put the turkey in.
Right.
Right. And and then you only can stay for so long.
Because you got to get the turkey.
Because you got to get the turkey.
And they're looking at you.
And then you've got the green bean casserole, you got the cranberry, you got all the.
So you're going to go home and eat again?
Right, well, not again. Well, you know what? Yes, again. But now you have turkey sandwiches.
Right.
For Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Right. You have enough.
That's good.
So if you're listening out there, you feel my pain when you know that you're always bummed that you didn't have enough leftover turkey.
Well, that's why I'm having it at my house.
Yeah, so you get the backup turkey.
So Friday you'll be eating turkey because you won't be here.
Because we won't. Yeah. So let's do that. So we're closed Thursday. We're closed Friday, obviously, and we'll be back
Friday,
Monday.
Be with your family.
And I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw a caveat. Wednesday, I'm going to say we're here. We may not be. Unless I want something awesome. If we're going to be able to sell something awesome, we'll do it. So Wednesday's a maybe. Let's call it 50-50 for Wednesday. We are definitely closed Thursday, definitely closed on Friday. Shipping, we are going to be, these next few days, it's going to be big shipping. Those of you, the second round of peace dollars, and I think the final round, I should say.
I'm hoping the peace dollars come today.
Yeah, latest tomorrow, but they're going out.
And so are the half.
The $50, the quarters, all of that stuff's going out.
Yeah, today and tomorrow's going to be a big silver.
There's a couple people that had a 10th ounce here or there. Those are going out. Right. Some gold eagles going out, silver eagles going out. I mean, we're going to be all caught up before the holiday.
Yeah.
How about that?
I hope.
We time it good. Yeah, barring, we don't control UPS, but barring,
right,
something that is unexpected, we're all on it. We're all on top of it. So, what else? So we talked about the backup turkey, talked about the schedule for the week.
Charles Manson
finally
died.
Finally
died, Charles Manson. He should have been put to death. I'm sorry, a long time
ago.
Okay.
Okay. I got you. No, I don't disagree with that.
No,
absolutely.
It's just.
But it's over for him, and good riddance. And hell has a new member, I guess, today.
Right.
Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. I will say this. Wendy said to me this morning, call me, and I'm going to knock your socks off. That's what she said to me. She won't share any details about what it is that she has or doesn't have, but she's like Houdini. She's got stuff up her sleeve, and they don't like talking to me. I don't know why. The Bullion Bank talks to her. I normally get, what do you want, and that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for something today, give her a shout. 800-951-0592. We'll be back after the break. Patriot Radio News Hour at 800-951-0592. A holiday week, and not a lot of economic data out, but still a lot to talk about. First, we saw, what was it? Not Friday, the Friday before. We had the $4 billion sale, right? The gold market manipulation, which I told you then was a really good thing for gold. And then, of course, gold just killed it all week last week. Last Friday took out all of them, the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day moving averages. This morning, we had another one of the manipulations, a $2 billion 5-second sale in paper gold contracts. Gold's down about $10, $1,285, $1,286. Silver's at $17. So we're kind of where we were at, I think, when we got off the air last Friday. And then gold got all the way to $1,295 on Friday. And I think we're gearing up. We're getting ready here. I think the base, that 1270 base, is in, and we'll wait. We've got tax cuts and central bank meetings and all of the rest of those things. And I've been trying to get you to understand you can't pay attention to that, because that's not really what's important. I mean, we can do the tax cuts. I mean, it makes no sense, right? The Wall Street's at an all-time record high, and employment's at what they are claiming to be darn near all-time record low. Well, the way they calculate it today, anyway. So why would we need a corporate tax cut? Well, I mean, if things were so horribly bad, but they're so. I mean, I guess the other way around. If they were so great, but it kind of tells you what's happening. We will today. We'll go over the GAAP and non-GAAP numbers. That probably has a lot to do with why that is, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But here's what's really important: is the central banks have been having very in-depth discussions about what the future is going to look like. And what I mean by that is the future rules or what they're planning on. And we heard from the San Francisco Federal Reserve President, John Williams. We talked about that. I think that was Friday's show, where he was saying, hey, listen, we're going to go right back to zero, if not negative rates. Said we're going to go do more quantitative easing. Then he talked about the need to get ready for everybody gets a check, right? Hey, there's going to be so many people, and I guess we're starting to see it in that labor force participation rate. That keeps falling, and about twice a year they make the big adjustments, and there's always, miraculously 1 million more or 2 million more people that aren't employed and not working. We're over 95 million Americans are in the not participating in the labor force. And, of course, you can't count the kids that aren't even 16 yet because they can't participate. So you're thinking, we're not quite at half, but it's getting close. I mean, we're at, 62%. So almost 4 out of every 10 people that are eligible of working age, not in the labor force. But talked about the need to work. You're just going to have to give people money. And this is above and beyond. And a lot of us, at least for me, the first thing I'm like, well, we do that now. We already do that. Food stamps and all these other programs. But this is much bigger than that. This is going to be, hey, food stamps isn't just enough. Because a lot of people on food stamps, there's 40-some-odd million people on food stamps. A lot of them. I mean, the vast, vast majority of them are working. But Williams was talking about, hey, we're going to run into problems where there just isn't enough work, enough jobs for people, and talked about the need to start talking about this. And, I think they're calling it universal income or whatever it is that they want to talk about. Of course, how are we going to pay for that? Who knows? The bigger news, though, was out of the ECB talking about ending the deposit insurance. And we've got a lot more data on that today that just came out. They had done, it was a 58-page paper, okay? And I want to give you so you can look it up for yourself. It was published on November the 8th, okay? So if you want, what you're looking for is published on November the 8th, and it was entitled On Revisions to the Union Crisis Management Framework. Revisions to the Union Crisis Management Framework. In other words, okay, the next time we need to have all of our ducks in a row, right? So the next crisis, this is the blueprint that they want to follow. It's 58 pages, the majority of which are proposed amendments to the Union Crisis Framework. So, in other words, as they're putting their talking points together, and they got their think tank groups, and they've got all of this data, right, from their data mafia group. And they're starting to come up with, okay, this is kind of what we think we're going to need to do. And remember, they know they're so far ahead of us. By the time I've figured it out and I come out in the air and I tell you guys, I'm probably several years behind them. Maybe even 5 or 10. So when you think about what it is that these guys are doing, this is how far along they really are. There are some things of note. The central banks believe they can keep manipulating situations well beyond the likes of monetary policy. In other words, hey, we can control a lot more than you think. A lesson for savers in this, matter of fact, probably a lesson most people don't want to hear. And then the ability to reduce exposure to what they call counterparty risk. And that's a real fancy word for bail-in. You know, that's really what that means. Counterparty risk means, hey, the institution's insolvent because the loans aren't getting paid back. So this is how it breaks down. It says that ultimately bail-ins are so that central banks can keep the game of easy money, right? So they want to be able to continue to be accommodative. And they talk about regular people who place their money in the bank. Okay, so last week we said there's going to be what they call a competent authority. These are the people that are going to decide who gets what. So the ECB, in its proposal, right now in Europe, it's insured up to 100,000 euros. Okay, here at home, it's $250,000. Both of them are absolutely worthless. And what I mean by that is there's no money to pay for it. You know, it's kind of like saying, well, I have the insurance, but then when the accident happens, the insurance company doesn't have the money to pay for it. Same thing, right, where they just don't have it. They used to have it because the banks didn't used to be that big. A big bank maybe had $50 billion in deposits, maybe, right? Now, you're not a big bank unless your deposits are, $1 trillion plus. And most of the, in the FDIC insurance, they don't have anywhere near that kind of money. So what are they talking about? And here's what they wrote on the latest after reviewing this 58 pages. The fairness in writing depositors with less than 100,000 euros in the bank were protected under the terms of the ECB's covered deposit rules. It seems that these rules now are up for debate. Well, actually, really kind of up for more than debate. This is actually a proposal to change the rule. And they call it Amendment 13. So if you're looking at this 58-page document, you want to go to the Amendment 13 section where they are talking about this specific proposal. It says that covered deposits, okay, that's the 100,000 euros, no longer needs to be protected. This is determined because the ECB is concerned about a run on the failing bank. And, of course, I said to you last week, the European banks, they're even in worse shape than our banks. It says, if a failure of a bank appears to be imminent, a substantial number of covered depositors might still withdraw their funds immediately in order to ensure an uninterrupted access to their money, and because they have no faith in the guarantee scheme. And so here's what they're really saying is, hey, we're kind of learning. The second people realize that there really, really is trouble, they line up to take their money out. Now, they've already, and we saw it in Greece, what do? Well, they start limiting. Oh, well, you only, remember in Greece at one point I think they could only take out like $20. And then I think they bumped it up to $100 and then eventually $200. You couldn't do any more than that. You weren't allowed to wire money out of your bank to another bank. You weren't allowed to close your account, right? Your money was essentially locked in to that institution. All of those rules exist. All of those rules already exist, and now, as a matter of fact, here in the United States, they cover it all now. They exist on your money markets now, your 401ks, your IRAs, any debt instrument now. They can essentially say, you know what, no, you cannot sell. And in the case of a bank, hey, you got to leave your money here. This could be very damning for the big banks and cause a further confidence of crisis in the system. So they've decided that we need to prevent this. Such a scenario is particularly likely for large banks. Again, this is in the ECB's 58-page crisis management report, where they're making proposals to avoid the next crisis, where the sheer amount of covered deposits might erode confidence in the capacity of the deposit guarantee scheme. In other words, hey, it really doesn't matter. People are wise to us. Really, and this is, I think, a sign of hope, or the ECB saying, yeah, we can say it's insured, but nobody's actually going to believe us. That's kind of what they're saying right here. Now, they're still going to take their money out. I'm going to finish with this when we return.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. Now from the Phyllis Schlafly Center studios, here's Ryan Haidt.
In October, the Boy Scouts of America announced that it will soon allow girls to become Cub Scouts and even to earn the coveted rank of Eagle Scout, the organization's highest honor. We believe it is critical to evolve how our programs meet the needs of families interested in positive and lifelong experiences for their children, the Boy Scouts chief executive said. The board of directors voted unanimously to make the historic change in an organization that has been primarily for boys since its inception over 100 years ago. Cub Scout dens will be single-gender, all boys or all girls, said the organization in a statement. A separate program for older girls will be made available in 2019, reports say. Although the smallest unit of Scouts, known as dens, will be single-gender, larger bodies within the structure and camps will be co-ed. While Phyllis Schlafly would surely have much to say on this story, as the feminist agenda seems to have torn down yet another structure that recognized inherent differences in boys and girls and how they best learn. Even the Girl Scouts organization has been unwilling to allow boys to join their ranks, citing research that showed many girls learn best in all-female environments. Where's the pressure for them to now accept boys in their programs? We have discussed this one-sided pressure often, particularly in recent attacks on all-male sports programs in schools across the country. Phyllis was quick to remind us that the feminist agenda isn't about helping young women or even creating equality at all. The goals of radical feminism have always been to tear down social structures that promote masculinity, husbandhood, and fatherhood, or simply to deconstruct the recognition that there are two distinct genders to begin with. It's sad to see another prominent organization change its most basic qualifications to accommodate what they see as the changing nature of American life. The traditional family unit and recognition of unique differences between men and women is a cornerstone of our American society. Phyllis reminded us in her book, Who Killed the American Family, when the nuclear family disappears, the government steps in as the provider and decider.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. The traditional family is the building block of our communities and country. That's why it's imperative to support strong marriages, respect fathers, and champion stay-at-home moms. At phyllisschlafly.com, we oppose the liberal attempt to redefine the family. To join us, visit phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening, and join us again next time for the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
He was backwards, use words like no.
800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. You know, it's incredible what they're actually writing. And remember, here's the one thing we know now. There really isn't any more independence from these central banks, right? They're all trying to work in unison. They're all in this together, and therefore now we have to, just kind of like everything, we've got to pay attention to everything that's being said, not just here at home, but everywhere. And really, the two big central banks are ours and what? The European Central Bank. I mean, they're the two big boys in the room. And I want to share with you what they wrote about what they really think about the depositor. And remember, I've already told you, the money's not yours. The second you put your money into the bank, it's not yours. You are essentially an unsecured creditor to the bank, like a bondholder. They're thinking of getting rid of what they call covered deposit rules, or their FDIC insurance. Instead, they want to include certain safeguards to protect the rights of depositors. The funny thing is we've got very little right? We're not allowed, and even with Wells Fargo, we're struggling to do class action lawsuits. So if they're ripping you off and everybody else off, you can't band together. You don't own the money; it's not yours. All of these things. Ready? Here's what they're thinking is going to work. Clear communication as to when access will be regained, and a restriction on the suspension to a maximum of 5 working days. In other words, the bank, if a run is imminent, that they're worried about a run on the bank, they can stop you from making withdrawals, and they need to, according to the proposed rules, issue clear communication when access would be regained, and out of the kindness of their heart, they said that the bank has 5 working days to tell you. So, because you really don't need any money for at least 5 days. And it said, avoiding a cumulative use by the competent authority and the resolution authority. Okay, now I don't know what the resolution authority, who that is. I'm supposing the competent authority is the central bank themselves. Here's what they're I guess implying. Bondholders are seen as creditors. The same type of creditor that EU rules state must take responsibility for a bank's financial failure rather than the taxpayer. Now remember, when you make a deposit into a bank, our rules are the exact same. And really, banking rules in most developed countries are identical or extremely similar. In this case, it's identical, right? You deposit money, you are a creditor, a.k.a. a bondholder, and you're the worst kind, which is unsecured. What unsecured means is you get paid last. And then, of course, the EU is saying, hey, listen, we already got rules in place that says the bondholders must take the losses. In a bail-in scenario, the type of junior bonds held by the retail investor in the street is the first to take a hit. When the world's oldest bank, right, Monte de Pesci, remember we talked about them, collapsed, ordinary people took a hit. Right? We didn't really hear about this, but I guess according to the article here, 200,000 savers, 40,000 businesses took a hit on it. They said that despite the biggest bail-in in the history occurring within the EU, few people have actually paid attention. Key things that they considered: diversity savings across banks and in different countries. So I'm assuming when they're deciding how much of your money they're going to keep, this is one of the factors they're proposing they're going to think about. Hey, do you got any other money in other banks? Do you have any money in other countries? Consider counterparty risk and the health of the deposit-taking bank. In other words, hey, if they're in trouble, we got to make sure to help them. Notice how it didn't say the depositor. No, it said the bank. Attempt to own assets outright and reduce risk to custodians and trustees. Right? Is there anything worth selling? Right? Can we get rid of stuff and raise money, or can we pay off things? Own physical gold in allocated accounts with outright legal ownership. Thought that was kind of interesting. I guess that would be if they have IRAs or 401ks where you can hold gold in Europe. Avoid of investments where there is significant counterparty risk. Right? So these are things, I guess, that they're talking about with the banks. Avoid banks with large derivative books. So now you got to be educated. Hey, what bank do you want to get into? Hey, here's what you should think about when you're setting up your bank account now. Monitor bank and institutions' financial stability. I don't know how we do that. Because they, by default, they acknowledge they don't like to tell us what banks are in trouble. They know. Monitor government policy pertaining to banks and bank deposits. That's why you listen here, because I help you do that. Monitor your deposit and saving account terms and conditions. Yeah, good luck reading that fine print. Helpful suggestions by the ECB for all of you at home. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Really interesting. Talking about what we're the landscape that we're going to eventually see. And remember, part of the reason that, the credibility of Bitcoin, and I'm not talking about the technology behind it. the technology behind it is highly valuable. It's going to revolutionize a lot of what it is that we talk about in the future. The actual Bitcoin itself, it just depends on who you talk to, right? I'm one of those guys where I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. But I understand what it is. And really think about the premise. They're trying to create something that's gold-like, right, without it actually being gold. Something that you could somehow have your wealth and also have your privacy, right? And, of course, the whole thing with electronic currencies, right, is to take all of that away. That's what the technology behind it can do. It's the most powerful data storage technology and the transferring, the speed of the transferring, and not just the actual transfers themselves, but the documentation behind it, right, can all be done in the blink of an eye. And, again, when you start thinking about the elimination of cash, and we're already well down the road on that. Again, when I say that they're 5 and 10 years ahead of us, right, that's what's going to happen. I don't think we get out of the next decade without a massive curtailing of cash. And they want to go to these electronic credits because it makes all these rules they're proposing so much easier. Right? They're trying to take away and limit your ability to store, your wealth or store your money. And really, when you hold cash, you're not storing wealth. You're just not keeping it in the financial institutions. And that's where they want all the money to be. And so I just found that very interesting when you talk about the proposal that's being made. Let's get rid of the deposit insurance because they don't have the money. And they get it. Hey, these banks are way too big. We can never pay that. And the only way to pay it is to borrow money from the government, which they've now deemed to be illegal, right? No more bailouts. So there's only one place to go, and that's bondholders. And depositors are part of that. Unfortunately for us, we're not at the top of the list, right? We're at the bottom. Just something to keep in mind, something that we'll keep watching. Then you hear San Francisco Fed President John Williams already laying out, listen, we already know what we're going to do in the next crisis, right? We're going to bring rates back to nothing. He even said, hey, negative is possible, more quantitative easing, more blowing up of balance sheets, and oh, by the way, we may just have to, in order to keep social unrest to a minimum, start mailing people checks. Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder, doesn't it? How about this? All 30 Dow Jones industrial average companies have finished third quarter earnings. And I've been making a big deal, and I don't do it often, but probably, every couple of months I'll talk about earnings reports. And when you turn on the idiot box, or even when you're on the web, so-and-so beat the street, and blah, 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 beat estimates, and all of these things. And it's a way of trying to make you feel good about the debt markets. And when the dot-com bubble crashed, okay, and everybody got hammered, they came up with these rules that said, okay, you know what? Shame on us. We allowed all of these companies to report earnings that really weren't very honest. And so they came up with what they called generally accepted accounting principles. They call it GAAP. So it's GAAP with an extra A. Generally accepted accounting principles. Now they need, by law, all of these corporations, publicly traded corporations, need to report that number. Unfortunately, that is not the number they use on TV. It's not the number they use when they determine whether or not a company beat the street or beat the estimate. They don't use that number. In other words, they've kind of said, well, you made us report it, but unless somebody's really smart and knows how to read all of our financial reports, which most people never see, no one's going to know. Fortunately for us, someone's done it. By the way, this is Wolf Richter, Wolf Street. Great. Guy's great. Does great research. Here's what he found out. That all companies, on the 30 companies that make up the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 30 companies overstated or had their non-GAAP number was 16% higher than the factual number. And if you just took the worst half, right, the 15 of the 30, they were over by 26%. The biggest sinner was Merck, the pharmaceutical company. They turned a 2-cent loss under GAAP accounting into a non-GAAP or adjusted profit of $1.11. Thought that was interesting. We lost money, but we can pretend that we didn't. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back. Final segment coming up. Final segment on this Monday. A little damage today. Yeah, a lot of yelling and screaming at my son's football game, their state semifinal game this weekend. They won. They'll play in the finals on December the 2nd. We are closed Thursday and Friday, possibly even Wednesday. We are shipping piece dollars, the half dollars, the quarters, all of that stuff. We should have all of that out before we head out for the holiday. Of course, then we'll be back on Monday. Really nice day to buy. We got a pullback. Gold's down 15, so kind of hit the reset button from Friday, 1,280. Silver's down about 40, let's call it 44 cents, 16.95. So both ways, good pullback, good opportunity. Give Wendy a call, 800-951-0592. We were talking about GAAP and non-GAAP. Just to put it in perspective, Walmart, okay, you may have heard of them, inflated its earnings 72%. How is that even possible? But yet there it is. DuPont, 67%. Coca-Cola, 52%. Pfizer, 43%. Johnson & Johnson, 39%. GE, 38%. Cisco, 27%. You kind of get the picture. I mean, the numbers for about half of the Dow Jones it's ridiculous. The other half, at least it was close, right? They all did GAAP and non-GAAP numbers, but for at least half the companies, the difference was so enormous. It's hard to really understand what is the true condition of anything. Of course, but that's the way they love it, right? Just make sure that nobody really knows a whole lot of anything. That just seems to be the way the debt markets work nowadays. But, just another reason why you need to put it away. You need to take the time. Think about what the ECB wrote and the things that they were talking about. Hey, maybe a good idea, have some gold put away, because if it's in the banks, we're going to find it. If you're in multiple banks, if you're in other countries, all those things. And, of course, you want to, try to do some of that as well, right? You want to try to have it spread out, because this is how tough they've made the rules. But even here, you almost can't do it anymore. Changing banks. I'd rather go to the dentist than change a bank. I mean, right? I'd rather probably get a root canal. I don't know about that. Yeah, maybe. Than change banks. I mean, that's how complicated it really is anymore. And, of course, all the automatic withdrawals and all that stuff, all the things they do to kind of lock you in, and now they're going to what? They're going to change the rules on us, just like they always do, right? And, of course, it's never for our benefit. I didn't see one thing in the ECB, right? Their big concern, well, we got to let you know within 5 days. Didn't even say how much money you could get. They just needed to communicate. And, of course, this is still just a proposal. Just a proposal, nothing to worry about. Patriot Radio News Hour. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Hopefully my voice will be a little better tomorrow. Everyone take care. Have a great day. And make sure you give us a call before the holiday. Take care.